Greetings, everyone. This is Z at Happy Good Happy Life. Today will be my first attempt at making Nigerian Alkaline FuFu and my special okra stew. So we're going to get right to it. Go ahead, chop up those potatoes. I'm using red potatoes. Dr. Sabi did recommend the red potatoes. He said they weren't as starchy. They're the first generation of potatoes, so they are better than the other potatoes. The other potatoes are pretty much hybrid. So we're going to chop everything up. We have the green, unripe actually bananas, boiled bananas. We're going to chop those up. We're going to mix everything in the blender. I use potatoes because cassava, Dr. Sabi is not on this. He did not recommend cassava for specific reasons. So I chose to use potatoes and bananas, boiled bananas. They're both alkaline. Although red potato is not on the list, but still he did mention that red potatoes. If we're going to use potatoes, use red potatoes. But I've never had fufu before, so I thought it would be something exciting to try and prepare. So that's the reason I'm making it. And it seemed like a really simple process. But from my experience right now, I encourage you to use a blender instead of food processor, because the food processor was not working for me. It just did not make the mixture creamy. Because when you process and blend it, as you will see, it's going to be a really creamy texture, and that's what you want. So the food processor, it didn't happen. So I had to transfer from the food processor into the blender to get that effect that I was looking for, like the creaminess. As you can see here, see how creamy it looks. Yeah, so the creaminess, that's what we're looking for. We want to have the nice creamy consistency, more like when you're making cake batter or something like that. You see the difference in the blender and the food processor. So here it is in a saucepan, nice and creamy. So this, what we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on the stove. We're going to have like medium high, and once we put it on the stove, we're going to take a wooden spoon and we're going to go ahead and keep stirring till it starts to become thick. You're going to have a really thick consistency, and you just want to keep stirring because you don't want it to stick. You don't want to create lumps. And just keep stirring, and then eventually we're going to have our fufu ball. So here we're going to just stir and stir and stir. And I did have lumps in there, but the more I stirred, it just eventually disappeared. So we want a nice smooth texture, a nice smooth, thick texture. It's gonna create you're gonna need some arm work. So, but it's a much easier method than what they do in in certain parts of I guess Nigeria, or just different parts of the continent. So there is no, you notice there was no salt. I didn't add any salt. A lot, I don't see when I see the Nigerians making fufu, I don't see where they add any salt. So actually, once you complete the fufu, and the flavor is really gonna come from your stew, your sauces, or whatever you make. So after stirring, so we use a spoon, the wooden spoon, get a big clump, and we put it in some saran wrap. And this is right now, I'm just trying to shape it, get it to some kind of ball looking smooth shape. But right now it's in saran wrap because when you cook the fufu first, and you're gonna sit it aside so it won't start to get hard. You don't want that, that kind of like a crusty hardness. But this is it, basically. It's not as round and smooth. It's smooth, but because I have the saran wrap, it gives it, putting those little creases and all that in there. But this is my first attempt, and eventually I'm gonna perfect it for sure. Just like I'm trying to perfect everything else dealing with veganizing foods. But as you see, this is the pan. That's the what I'm talking about. I took a big old clump like that and just put it into saran wrap and try to mold it into a nice smooth ball. But as long as the fufu itself is nice and smooth, once you begin to eat, you're not running into no kind of lumps or anything like that. But yeah, this is it. So we're about to go on to part two. Part two is where we're going to be making this okra stew. This is my take on okra stew, similar to what my mother used to make. So basically, we're going to start off with the tomatoes. I have like cherry tomatoes, and I have the plum tomatoes. The plum tomatoes, I always remove the skin and the seeds from the plum tomatoes because the lectin. Cherry tomato is not too bad. Then I'm going to use the lady fingers or the okra. Never heard of okra being called lady fingers before. I'm sure that's what it is. But we're going to go ahead and chop the tips of those off. And we have the red onion. And we're going to use cayenne onions as well. And also baby kale. So all those first ingredients, we're going to put them in a pan, and we're going to saute it with salt, sea salt, kelp, cayenne pepper, whatever season you want within the realms of the nutritional guide. So basically that's what I'm adding, I'm using at the moment. And then we're going to add a little grapeseed oil. Actually, it was olive oil to saute it in some olive oil, not much. And we're going to have it on kind of like a medium low for the sauteing. And this is about basically what it looks like once I, just add all the vegetables in there. And we're going to start to add onion powder. good old onion powder. It looks like a lot, but it isn't. I guess it looks like a lot because of it's in slow motion. But actually, I'm not using a lot because I already have the onions. Oh, this is gonna be so delicious. I'm so excited, can't wait. My very first time ever eating fufu. I'm quite sure, the Nigerians probably make a way better fufu than me. Just the fufu because they use so much, they're more experienced and they have some incredible ingredients. But this here, that's the kelp powder. It's not a lot of kelp powder I'm using. I'm just going to use a little kelp powder. I don't like to overdo it on the seasoning and spices when you're using different seasoning spices because I don't want one to override the other. I just want all of those spices and seasonings just blend in perfectly. And one is not overpowering the other. But you want to taste a little of each one, and then that blend makes it incredible. And that was salt. That was this sea salt. And we're gonna put this on the stove. Like I said, it's gonna be medium low. I'm sorry, medium low. And you just want to take time to saute and do a little bit of simmering. And this is it. And also what I did put in there, I used one of my favorite greens is seaweed. I love seaweed. I mix seaweed with a lot of my ingredients, different recipes. And I use the organic seaweed. I think it's called Glory, where it's organic, non-GMO. It just have seaweed. It don't have a lot of other ingredients like some seaweed have like a whole bunch of stuff. It don't have a lot. Just seaweed. Because most seaweeds, if you read the ingredients, they have like soybean oil. I don't use soy oil because it affects your hormone, imbalances your hormones. So this is it right here. And what I did add, I added on garbanzo beans, coconut milk, the aquafaba, chickpea aquafaba, and some Ethiopian Berber spice. And that's it. Oh, yeah, you saw the tomatoes, of course, we have the tomatoes, and that's it. So if you don't want to add the beans, you don't have to, but I'm a fanatic when it comes to chickpeas. I love chickpeas like some people love ice cream. But this is it. This is my fufu. And that little green stuff on as dill. I just topped off with a little dill, fresh dill. And also in this soup I have fresh thyme and I have fresh basil. Yeah, fresh thyme and fresh basil. So there's a lot of little herbs in there and spices or whatever. But it is very healthy because when I choose my herbs and stuff like that, I choose stuff that's going to benefit the body. Thanks for watching. Peace and vegan love.
My mind. everything's a dream, and it feels oh so good. Yes, it feels oh so good, but it's only a dream. Hold on, keep it nice and slow, on and on, 'cause I know how good it feels, and I still think it's me, but it's only a dream. I know I'm asleep. I can feel it from my head to my feet. Please, Mr. Sandman, I know if anyone could, you would understand. I just can't wait. No, not yet. I know it's a dream. Just hold on, keep it nice and slow, on and on, 'cause I know how good it feels, and I still think it's real, but it's only a dream. Feels so real. And when we stop, hold back the clock. As long as I'm asleep, love is mine to keep. Don't you let it go. If you do, I know